Da, 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 da.
Okay, welcome everybody to the next community development update number 15. We have today on our hangout, we have Evil Day, we have a new guy on, who is called Silvio. You see one person who's the blue little man. This is John Middleton from the Isle of Man. He's going to talk to us if his microphone is on. And I would like to kick off with Evil Dave, who wants to inform us about an overstock initiative. Dave.
Okay, well, thanks for listening, guys, and welcome to the Hangout. The first thing that I'd like to cover today, though slightly circumspectly, because there's a lot of aspects that shouldn't be publicly spoken about at the moment, but it is a well-known fact that NXT and several other cryptocurrencies are competing with a company called Overstock. Now, Overstock, if none of you have ever heard of them before, are a fairly large online retailer in the United States. I believe their turnover is something in the region of $1.2 billion yearly. And Overstock is headed up by a guy called Dr. Patrick Byrne, who myself and Baz actually met at Bitcoin 2014, just for a little spot of name dropping. And he is a confirmed cryptocurrency enthusiast. Now, Overstock have put out what you could call a tender application, which basically invites pretty much any of the second generation cryptocurrencies to put forth their advantages and disadvantages of using each platform for a possible security issue or an asset issue for Overstock. Now, all of this is at the moment very theoretical and nebulous, but what we are creating is a wiki document which basically outlines the strengths and weaknesses of each currency, and in particular the absolute wonder that is NXT and why Overstock should choose for NXT in the eventuality that they do decide to make a cryptocurrency security issue. Now, I think Baz, or possibly even Silvio, is going to post a link to the wiki discussion on our forum.
I just posted a link on the YouTube channel under the video that people are watching right now.
Okay, well, I haven't actually got YouTube in front of me. So if anybody has any input or any points to make or anything useful, they can place it in the wiki. I believe at the moment that Berserk is one of the guys who is responsible for most of the wiki editing, so you can also get in contact with him. One of the issues we are encountering with the wiki is that several members of competing cryptocurrencies are spending much of their time simply deleting everything to do with alternate cryptocurrencies. So in this way, we're not going to be making a hell of a lot of progress on the wiki. So what I say is, if you do decide...
There's another side to that. There's another side to that that I already thought of. There were a lot of people complaining about that things were deleted, but every root history, so it's very easy to see who deleted what. So the nice thing about the wiki is that nothing gets lost, not even the deletion.
Exactly, and it's very obvious for anybody who cares to take a look. For example, from Overstock, we're basically this wiki and have made it open for us to see who are the guys actually posting on the wiki and who are the guys simply deleting everything. So again, as with everything to do with NXT, keep it positive. Make contributions, put useful things in, but don't get into the game simply deleting everything that our competitors have put up there. Yeah, allow them to make their case. We should also make our case. So yeah, if you've got any ideas, get on over to the wiki section and put them down in black and white. Anything more to say on the wiki, guys?
What are I found the wiki fairly interesting to see what the good points and the bad points are, because that's basically what people are putting in. What's your view on who is the contender at this moment? I heard a lot about Counterparty, that they were doing well. Is that true?
Much as I hate to diss a competitor, Counterparty did manage to place one article on, I think it was Upstart, which is a business and financial affairs journal. And from this article, which you can obviously find a link to in the forum, and I think in the wiki section, this article appeared to be saying that Counterparty were the absolute best and were going to win in this competition. I think this is probably more than likely Counterparty propaganda. For the rest, I know that BitShares and a couple of others, possibly even Mastercoin, might be involved, but so far I've got no idea of their progress. I hate to sound completely and utterly Next biased, but Next is really in the best position. We're in the lead in terms of live time with our asset exchange, in terms of experience with handling assets, in terms of community support. We've been in discussion with Overstock for quite a long time, since around about February of this year, in various ways. So we have a really, 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 really good chance. That's all I can say at the moment. And I do have one cunning little plan that Next could offer that I don't think any of our competitors can offer, but I'm not actually going to spread that around on a public forum like the Hangouts at the moment.
And why do you
Keep it as
mention
a little. I'm keeping it as a secret weapon at the moment.
Okay.
Or it might not even, or there might not even be a secret weapon. There's maybe fully psychological warfare to confuse Counterparty.
Okay. Well done.
Okay, that's as I say, pretty much in the Overstock.
Okay. Then, well, thanks. I would like to try and move on to John Middleton, who is from the Isle of Man, where, as people may know, a lot of interesting things for cryptocurrency in general are happening. And he would like at least to talk about the CryptoCon conference that's coming up in September, and we'll see where it goes from there. John.
Okay, well, hopefully is the sound better now?
A bit. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's a few interesting things happening. You may have heard of an organisation called Coin Compliance, which is setting up in the Isle of Man. And the idea behind that is to act as like a rating agency, not just for crypto businesses like exchanges, but also for coins. And I've been talking with two of the people who are involved there, and what they were saying is they asked me if I would get involved in the authoring of that report, or certain parts of it. And my background is in mentoring financial services. I'm the director of a financial services company over here, or a compliance officer of that. And I think that's the kind of people that wanting in there. So what he did say is it's in the very early stages on this, but he will send a draft of the way the evaluation is going to work, etc. And I can circulate that. But we've got a chance to be on a little bit early on there. I'm also working with an exchange, which is going to be selling Next on the Isle of Man, and I'm helping them with their anti-money laundering policies and the work that they're doing with the Isle of Man government. And then the other news, the other two bits of news there is a company called QuickBit, and I met with one of their directors yesterday, and he is going to be operating a BTM, a Bitcoin dispenser in the Isle of Man. The way you put in cash and you take out Bitcoin. I spoke to him about whether he'd be interested in alternative currencies. That's something he would be interested in. Next thing I've been talking to people about on the Isle of Man is the idea of having a short series of seminars of introduction to crypto for business people. I do some training in offshore corporate kind of work, and there's a guy who's a local technologist, Owen Kutjar, may have heard when Lee came over to the Isle of Man. He held a seminar, and I've been talking to him about having an introduction to crypto for finance people, run over 4 weeks, where it's just the idea being that to spread the word, but also to not to focus on things like mixing services or to tailor the message, if you like, in order that financial services take this on board. I've also been working with Dominic from Next House regarding their new point of sale system. And there's a coffee shop in the Isle of Man called Java Coffee. I'm involved with that. I do some work for them. And they've agreed that they will take Next in the coffee shop in the Isle of Man. And the first Bitcoin machine will be the pub opposite the coffee shop. So I'm quite interested. There's an ISP in the Isle of Man that will now take Bitcoin. It's quite hard for me, to be quite honest, too. I'm quite new to this myself anyway, but it's just a case of I've been talking to various people about how introducing to crypto. Most people I've spoken have said that the way they do that is they talk about Bitcoin first as generation 1, and then they move over to Next as generation 2, rather than going straight in talking about Next. I don't know if anyone's done any work in terms of educating the public and how they've dealt with that.
Okay. The sound is still fairly broken up, but if I can recap from what I hear is it sounds like there's a very large presence of Next on the Isle of Man. There's also a rather complete set of services being developed on the Isle of Man. So I see financial services, I see compliance services, I see fiat services. Is that correct? Dave, could you mute your microphone, please?
I could do if this thing starts to cooperate.
Okay. Is that correct, John?
Yeah, that's right. Quite an active community. Now, for example, I was there's this Next related exchange looking at setting up in the Isle of Man. I've been working with them, and I made an application to reserve their company name in the Isle of Man. And it was for this is just a little detail, but the example of the interest in the Isle of Man. So that was referred to the Financial Supervision Commission, because while I'm saying crypto-related activity isn't regulated, there is a cost in our Financial Services Act in relation to payment service providers. And there's some detail in there which I could go into another time, but basically it was referred to them to say, oh well, is it performing this class activity? So I spoke to the FSC, the guy I know very well, who I spoke to, I've dealt with him many times. He's actually a student of mine on some lecturing that I've done before, and he said, I've not heard about Next. So I said, well, I'll come over next week to you at the Commission, and I'll give you a little bit of an introduction about that. So, of course, he'd only heard of, this was someone who works in the FSC in the policy division. So this will be like an informal chat, it won't be a formal presentation, but people are interested in these things, and there's a very much government commitment here. I met 3 weeks ago with the Chief Executive of the Department of Economic Development, and he told me categorically that the Isle of Man Chief Minister and the Council of Ministers are very keen to find a way for crypto to work in the Isle of Man, to attract new businesses, attract new jobs, and comply with international standards. So, while other countries are taking a view that they need to control and regulate this, the Isle of Man are taking the view we need this here, or it needs to be in a controlled environment. Now, what that controlled environment will be, the proposals are twofold at this stage. First of all, we have legislation called the Proceeds of Crime Act, and in that legislation, there are really two sets of rules. One, if you're operating in the financial services sector, which also include estate agents, dealers in high-value goods such as jewellers, when you've got additional obligation placed upon you. And they're looking at put crypto businesses in there. Now, what sort of crypto business, exchanges, wallet, who knows, that's yet to be decided. So they're going to bring them into the regulated sector in respect of anti-money laundering compliance. And then also, they are going to have the financial services regulator responsible for the oversight of the AML compliance for those businesses. But at this stage, what they're very clear on is that there will be no prudential regulation, no bit license type regulation in America. What there will be is the regulation will be limited to those businesses complying with anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism. So that's quite. I've spoken to some people who've been involved in putting together compliance policies for an exchange which opened up in the Alabama, the first one, called Coin Corner, and everybody's very buoyant about it. But the Alabama are quite cautious on these things. Now, I'm a chartered secretary, that's my profession, and in the past I've been our industry representative on working groups. There's two really. One, the Joint Anti-Money Laundering Action Group, and secondly, the Legislation Liaison Group. So I'm hoping that to rejoin my membership and also to be able to feedback what the government policies and how it's developing as it comes forward.
I just get a message from a few people who are listening via YouTube at this moment, and it's very, very hard to follow what you're saying, apparently. I can hear it a bit. So what the recap that I get from it is that there is movement on the exchange front. This is a Coin Corner. There is movement within almost all official levels there on the Isle of Man. You're involved in at least the compliance part and the legal part of it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I knew. As said, in September there will be a big conference on the Isle of Man. And it's still all basically up in the air because they're very careful about how they're going to deal with it. Is that
yes, that's right.
a good? Okay, that's at least a small recap, so people know what you said. It's a pity that the sound isn't that.
I make one further comment there that. At the conference, I'll be next house, Dominic, and potentially David, and myself have got a table at that conference, and hopefully we're hoping by then that we'll have the point of sale system there demonstrate, actually be able to take the next and people point of sale.
Yeah, that's good. John just said that Next House, and Next House is one of the companies that's doing a fiat possibility. They are also going to be there with their own table in September, and this will be Dominic and David, who's known as Unicorn on the forums, and they will probably also showcase their POS there. So that's basically you can pay in shops with Next, and this is what they are producing. I also know that Payment, another company, has also secured 3 tickets for the conference there, and so we have a few people like Lawyer of Next who hopefully still will come to this hangout. Will be there too, and a few other people too. So Next will have a very, very big delegation there. That's 6 people for Next who are going to be at the conference, and I think that's a record at this moment. Okay. Well, thanks, John. I think we should try this again next week. Maybe we can do a test beforehand to make sure that we get the sound right. Because I find the whole thing that's happening in the Isle of Man over the last month is already very interesting. I've heard a lot from Lee from Coin the Text Coins Now. He's been there for a while, and a lot of things are happening on the Isle of Man, which is a good test case for any crypto in the future. So let's keep an eye on that one. Okay, Dave, are you available? Dave? Okay, then until it is back, I still want to move on to what we're all still waiting for, which is the next release of NXT, which are already mentioned and announced last week, coming of the digital goods store, the encrypted messages and alias trading and alias pricing. For the digital goods store, we already have the first use case, like I said, which is called Sinan Boon, who is going to put up their new EP on the 15th of August. That should be in time because by all calculations, the digital goods store should be active in 7 days. So sometime before we should see the new release. I myself have had a meeting this week with quite a renowned Dutch PR agency, just to do with, and we see really big potential here for the indie market. And this is indie music, this is indie gamers, and this is indie, for instance, indie filmmakers. It's a perfect tool to distribute your own creations, where you're not, where you don't need to give a percentage to a professional distributor. So this is one of the things we're really going to look into. People wouldn't even need to know that it's a NXT-based product, and it's according to me, it would be a very good way to move out into a mainstream function. This is then it would basically be powered by NXT, but people don't need to do anything with NXT to make use of the digital goods store. One of the fears that people have, and I think it's good to address for people to think about, it's just like any asset exchange, it is possible that people put scams on these things. So this discussion is also very active on what you're going to do. We have this blockchain technology. The strength of the blockchain is that it's completely open and transparent. With the same use of the store. One of the carriers for weakness because people can put anything on it. So this is actually something NXT Legal, our legal NXT advisor just came up, so maybe he can
hello.
Light on. Yes, hello, hi, welcome.
How are you? Sorry, I arrived late.
No, that's okay. At least you arrived. That's I was hoping that you were able to come. And we're just at this point. Maybe you can shed some light on this point. The goods store, when it comes out, and if people put things on that we basically wouldn't want to have on them, what's the status on such things?
Yeah, we may have problems, but I would wait to know how it's going to work, the digital goods store. So we could talk about this, but I would prefer to see it working. In fact, I talk about making a tool to delete items in case of this were strange or illegal, but this is a very problematic tool.
Okay. Could you, just for people who don't know you, could you introduce yourself, please?
I don't know. Sorry?
Dave, could you use the microphone?
Yeah, I'm going to kill the mic out of the video now that I'm back in.
Okay. Because there's a lot of noise coming from the back of you.
Sorry, can you hear me? This is crazy.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my name is Marcos. I'm the user of Next Legal. I'm in the forum in Next Legal. I am the director, and I'm a lawyer from Spain. I'm trying to make a net of contacts to support the Next community, to support investors and support users. And it's something that we're trying to start next month. Just to support community on the legal side of on this crazy world.
Okay.
The problem is that I don't hear anything. I mean, I don't know if I have my mic mute. I have no idea.
No, we can hear you.
You're fine.
Yeah, you're really clear.
Perfect. So what are you talking about? You're talking about the digital goods store.
We were talking about the digital goods store, and basically also we just talked to John from the Isle of Man, which also included compliance, etc. So maybe you can say something about where this whole discussion already is.
About if anyone wants to sell something illegal, something like that.
No, not really that. Where is do you know anything about where the global discussion about coin compliance for coins is at this moment? Where are we? How legal are things? What needs to be solved? And where is Next in this?
Yeah, I don't see any problem. Maybe we could have problems because if you want to sell something on the digital goods store, the problem is going to be with taxation. Because, for example, if you want to sell a song or something on any digital service, you have to pay a VAT for this. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So maybe we can have problems in this way, but let's see it working, and then we will try to see any possible problem.
Well, my question about this VAT is that still needed as long as it stays on the blockchain? Because I do know that you need, if I take out my Next or any Bitcoin to my normal bank account, then I need to pay taxes. This is clear. But as long as it stays on the blockchain, it's still Next or still Bitcoin. Is it needed then? Is it?
I don't know if you can hear me, but I know what the VAT position is in the Isle of Man.
Yeah, but forget the Isle of Man. If, for example, if I am from Spain and if I want to sell a song from Spain, if you buy my song, you have to pay a VAT. For example, if you're in Spain, you have to pay this.
Well, I mean, the situation would be is that depends who's selling it, of course, isn't it? Because if you're selling it through an Isle of Man entity, okay, if it's not you selling it, and then this, I mean, this is what I'm saying is we have set structures up before for clients. So, if the person selling it is in the Isle of Man, now, the Isle of Man is a country which is part of the VAT arrangements. And if you set up an entity or an individual in the Isle of Man, you were to make a sale, then there would be no VAT on the sale as long as you were under the threshold, and the threshold is something like £82,000. So until you reach that threshold, you've got no obligation to charge VAT on those services. So it depends who the seller is. So if, for example, there was an entity in the Isle of Man which was selling it as your agent, okay, and that is the seller, and then as long as it was under the VAT threshold, and there will be no VAT. So I've worked on the other situation is you actually look at how somebody like Amazon, basically Amazon, when they sell their songs, the legal entity which supplies those songs is a Luxembourg company. And they have chosen Luxembourg because Luxembourg has a lower VAT, there's a special VAT regime, which is the lowest VAT in the EU in relation to sale of digital goods. So, when companies are doing these things in the real world at the moment, they're choosing the best place to have the seller. But of course, we've got the situation about where is it being sold from.
Okay, I'm having some problems with the connection. I don't really understand it.
Yeah, I think my phone is quite poor here. I'll have to sort that out for next time.
Okay, however, I would wait till the digital good story working, and later we could talk about this kind of issue.
Yeah, Dave?
Yes, I was just about to stick my nose in here and sort of summarise the issue, which is basically that the digital goods store is going to be delivering product, and at one end of this transaction we're going to have to pay some form of sales tax, no matter pretty much which jurisdiction we're in. And it's a tricky question to resolve, basically, because we'd have to then either establish the digital goods store in a tax-free environment, which I think John mentioned as being Luxembourg having no sales tax, which would then allow us to...
They have the lowest VAT. If they have the lowest VAT rate if the VAT eligible services. But if an individual in most EU countries, if an individual sells a product or services, then they don't have to charge VAT unless the amount of those goods or services exceed the registration threshold.
Okay, what's the registration threshold in the UK, for example, off the top of your head?
Maybe £82,000.
Okay, so if we're looking at, for example, a struggling band releasing their first single on the digital goods store, or an indie game developer, that shouldn't really be such a problem. But as soon as we start getting into sort of, non-struggling bands or guys who are selling the latest Flappy Bird, that could give rise to tax issues. But again, I think we can see this as being an issue for the vendor themselves rather than an issue for NXT and the digital goods store. DGS is purely a platform, so the guys who are offering stuff for sale will have to ensure compliance. And really,
it's like eBay is too.
Yeah. And of course, there's always the chance that very soon we could simply shift the entire paradigm to a situation where trading on the internet takes place without any forms of sales tax, no matter what major governments try to do. Because very soon quite a lot of commerce is going to be taking place here, so...
Yeah. Well, that's basically where my question came from. As long as you do it without your self-contained system, I was wondering how much liable to tax at that moment. I know that at the outlet point, as soon as you start converting things and need to explain where your money comes from, then you're getting into tax situations.
Yeah.
I was just wondering that as long as you don't do that, and in your self-contained system you do your own thing, how much is needed there?
Yeah, again, like I say, that's going to have to be really down to the individual vendor themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, also, certain products and services are outside the scope of VAT. So, say you were selling clothes, for example, and clothes aren't subject to VAT. So you could sell £1 million of children's clothes and not charge VAT on them. If you were selling books, not e-books, actually, but physical books, and those on. So, when we move those on to, there are certain classes of books. The interesting thing is, if you sell a book, there's no VAT on it. If you sell an e-book, threshold, there is VAT on it. It's quite But you're quite right to say you need to place that at the responsibility of the seller to comply with developer tax. And also, the other situation is where it's payable, because some situation tax is payable at the place of supply, another tax is payable at the place of consumption. So, for example, if you're a US company who are supplying goods to the UK, you meet a certain amount of threshold, and even though you get no discount, maybe require to register.
Could you recap that, Dave?
Okay, from my point of view, I think that the problem is not on the digital goods store. The problem is on the seller part. Because, for example, if I have a band and I want to sell an MP3 in Spain, okay, I can sell to a Spanish guy, and I have to put up in the price. I have to put the VAT. So the consumer, in this case, the one who's going to buy my song, will pay this. So the digital goods store is just a platform to sell goods or to sell services, whatever you want. So I don't see a problem on the digital goods store. I see a problem on the seller that don't put a VAT on this price. This is the real issue from my point of view.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that people should not expect to be exempt of rules when they are using the digital goods store. That seems to be the summation of what you say.
The problem is that you say before, for example, if I want to issue, or if I want to sell something that it is illegal in my country, maybe me as a seller, I can have problems, but the digital goods store is just a platform. As a platform, it's not going to have problems. I think so.
So it is not a store. It is more like a marketplace. It's like a digital goods store where individual people can meet to each other. So there's no intermediate.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
the only thing I can see there is where there could be some problems is if you were selling something which was counterfeit and was infringing a trademark, for example. So say it was, say it was something which they didn't have the intellectual property ownership or providing a mechanism for just distributing that. So say, for example, these digital goods were in fact not the intellectual property of that person. And it was in the same way that Napster perhaps was used. Platforms can get targeted and criticised for these things when they're actually saying that they're only providing a mechanism. So I don't think it's quite as clear cut as that in practice.
John, I don't really understand you, and my connection with you is a little bit ugly, I would say.
No, this is a general problem from this. Everybody has this. Dave, could you maybe recap a bit? You seem to understand best.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing. We need to test this next time. Sometimes it happens. Everybody. Dave had it last week too.
Maybe, John, you could close the webcam. Maybe we get a better audio.
Lara, can you please sort off? Oops. Yeah, turned on my microphone. I should have turned it off again.
Yeah, okay. Could you do a last small cap of John, please? And we know where we are, and then we can move on to the next topic.
Okay, I think, well, John and everybody else in this topic, the basic issue here is taxation and the digital goods store. How are we going to handle that? Every single country in the universe inflicts some form of sales tax on goods and services. Some have high rates, some have lower rates, but pretty much everybody has sales tax. And various national regulations they vary a hell of a lot from nation to nation and from product to product. So in some situations, it could be the provider of a good or service that has to pay tax. In other situations, it could be the purchaser in another jurisdiction who is liable for the tax. I think the best approach that we can have with the digital goods store is to simply leave the question of organising taxation down to the actual vendor or seller of the product on the digital goods store, and to make sure that these guys actually attempt to comply with their own national regulations. The other option is simply to completely ignore all forms of national regulation on the digital goods store and attempt to sort of create a paradigm shift for online commerce, but I think realistically that's not going to happen. Everybody who trades on the digital goods store is going to have to look at their local tax regulations and take measures to ensure that they comply in some way with these regulations.
Yeah, absolutely with you.
Yep. And the last little point is the question of illegal content on the digital goods store, for example, counterfeit products. And I'd like to know, from my own point of view, how eBay, for example, handles this situation. Is eBay actually held liable for counterfeit or illegal products that are offered on their platform? Or can they simply comply with legal regulations by offering a mechanism to delist illegal product? And if that is the case, then I think that NXT should also offer a delisting mechanism.
Okay, but
a reporting mechanism.
eBay, as a centralized system, they can delist items if they think that it is illegal.
Yep.
But what can you do in the digital goods store?
We could probably build in a mechanism to do so, but that does kind of go against the spirit of decentralization that is NXT. But if we come into the situation where illegal goods are being listed on the digital goods store, and somebody does wish to take action, for example, against counterfeit Paco Rabanne aftershave or something along those lines, who will be held responsible for it? The vendor? The digital goods store itself? It is a tricky little situation.
For sure.
Yeah.
But the problem is, how can you identify the seller?
Again, you can't. Welcome to decentralization and peer-to-peer internet.
I know.
And this is again why I'm saying maybe we're heading towards a paradigm shift, because very soon, once the digital goods store hits, we are going to be offering pretty much a completely anonymous and free way of providing product. And that is something that doesn't fit into current regulation in any way whatsoever. So governments are going to be left with a choice of either trying to implement new laws that are applicable to something like the digital goods store, or to simply grant us a free pass and maybe come up with some sort of system, some sort of voluntary system, for example, a low rate of taxation and a voluntary reporting mechanism for illegal content. We're heading into uncharted territory here, guys.
I would just shortly add something. So we are actually not like a torrent platform who actually share the illegal or illegal software. So we just exchange information. So we just exchange a link where then after the purchase took place, they can download it. So we are not actually holding this illegal software, right?
Yeah, but torrent sites don't hold illegal software either. Torrent sites only hold torrents, which is a simple couple of kilobyte file which tells you where to find the dodgy software or hijacked movie. So, I mean, for example, Pirate Bay being the most famous of torrent sites, they have had their legal issues. But then again, they are facing a notoriously litigious industry. The recording and movie industries have been after people, well, ever since the 1980s. If you remember, home taping is killing music, like old people like myself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the torrent thing, because torrenting is basically theft of copyright material. And the digital goods store is not that at all, whatsoever.
I mean,
we are providing copyright material from the copyright holders.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I just wondered, is my microphone any clearer now? Is that or not?
Not
Great, not.
Okay, I won't bother that. I was going to say. All right.
It happens.
No problem, mate. I had a 5-second lag on last week, so it was almost impossible to hold a sensible conversation with me. So
Okay.
Okay.
We don't have that much time left for this hangout. So I would like to move on to the next topic. This I think we will get the good store topic back often enough because it's interesting material and we'll have to see where it goes. So let's revisit it on next Hangouts. Dave, you had a few topics and you will have to choose.
Okay, if I'm allowed to choose, let's move on to exchanges, particularly next to fiat exchanges, which are always one of my favourite topics. I've been working quite a lot in the last couple of weeks to get ccedk.com integrated into the Next ecosystem, and I've got to say, it has gone really brilliantly. And that's not down to me, but that's also down to the sort of massive welcome and excellent reception that the Next community has given CCEDK. And yeah, Ronnie, I spoke to Ronnie, the CEO of CCEDK, yesterday, and he's incredibly happy with the way that the Next community has responded to his exchange, offered with help, and generally supported him in the process of getting Next up and running on the exchange. So, top marks to that, guys, and use CCEDK. And I'd just like to add that as a token of thanks and as a little bit of promotion, CCEDK are going to be giving away 5,000 Next, that's 5 with 3 zeros after it, to a randomly selected Next trader on CCEDK. So anybody who has traded over 1,000 Next on CCEDK, either offering it for sale or purchasing it, up until the 15th of August, will be entered into a sort of random draw, and one of these lucky guys will receive 5,000 shiny new Next. So if you want to convert any of your Next into real money, euros, dollars, various Scandinavian currencies, I think even rubles are being listed fairly soon, then get on over to CCEDK. And again, if you've got some real currency you want to convert into Next, get on over there as well. Right, that was my little plug for CCEDK.
Yeah, I saw this guy on some news, and we are having a lot of a good marketing from these guys.
Yes, Ronnie's given us a lot of really good stories, and he also got Next exposure on Bloomberg.com, which is well, the first time we've ever had a story on.
First time Next on Bloomberg.
So yeah, the relationship with CCEDK and Next is looking really good for both sides at the moment. So yeah, I want to say, if you want to use an exchange, go to CCEDK. The only thing that they don't have at the moment is a massive amount of trading volume, which is why I keep saying, get on over there and trade something, guys.
Nice.
Yeah, it's at this moment it's still a two-way system. We have a lot of liquidity on beta, but it would be very nice if exchanges start listing us. They need to have an incentive to list us. This week there was this a bit of a discussion about Bittrex, but Bittrex actually had Next on it, but removed it due to low liquidity. And that's a bit weird because Bittrex lists almost anything. But the reason they do this is it brings them money too. So it's a symbiosis. If we want them to list us, we also need to take our trade there. So let's take the responsibility we have there and try to see what we can do. And if there's 5,000 Next involved, also nice.
Yes, nice big shiny prize.
I don't know if Next shines, it's digital, but we'll see.
It does in my world. All of my Next are shiny.
That's good enough for me. You also had one last topic. I want to use that to go over to about security. Well, basically, can you tell us something about Next.org and the whole new user situation there?
Okay, as people may know, Next.org was sort of languishing for a long time. Not very much was happening, not much was being updated, and the feedback on the site itself was generally, should we say, lukewarm. But recently, QBTC of Questity Marketing, a very professional website designer, took over Next.org with the intention of turning it into a gateway for the people who are new to Next. And I believe the revised Next.org went live about 2 or 3 days ago and is looking pretty good. So I'm going to take my hat off to QBTC there. But we need to work, in my humble opinion, on attracting new investors into Next. We need the mainstream. We need the guy who's just bought his first bitcoins and is thinking, maybe I'll invest in some altcoins. We need new guys to come on in. So I've been working with the idea at the moment of making a very basic guide to Next for the complete and utter newbie. Basically taking our new investor by the hand and leading him through the entire process of installing software, purchasing Next, possibly trading some Next, buying some assets on the exchange. Simple step-by-step guide explaining exactly what Next is and what you need to do at every single step. Because I'm still seeing occasionally on Bitcoin Talk and also on our own forum people who just sort of give up when they encounter the installation process. We need to make things as simple as possible for people to step in.
And in that way, what do you think about online wallets, Dave? Because basically, you don't need to have your own. You don't need to load your own blockchain. The only thing is it's already secured by password, but the password doesn't get sent to the site. What's your opinion on those?
In my not very humble opinion, I'm not very comfortable with the idea of using online wallets. I also don't like leaving my Bitcoin lying around on exchanges either. But I do know that Next has 2 or 3 online wallet services at the moment. I think on mynext.org and
mynext.info.
mynext.info and also on Nextblocks.
.info, yes.
Yes, Nextblocks.info.
And basically, secureae.com can also be used as a wallet.
As a wallet, but that's not their prime purpose. But anyway, Nextblocks and MyNext both seem to be really, really good web wallet services. So for the new investor, that does lower the threshold a little bit. But from the point of view of securing the network and trying to ensure ultimate security of your own Next, I would personally recommend that people set up their own clients. Though, having said that, Next is somewhat more secure because everything is basically stored on the blockchain, and your Brain Wallet password is simply an access method to the blockchain, and not an actual offline storage system for all of your Next.
Yeah, exactly. So my point would be for the online wallets is that they're basically all online already. So it's not as if you're storing your Next at a third party.
There is, however, a theoretical possibility, or a slightly increased theoretical possibility, that your password could be compromised by you submitting it to a web wallet service.
Yes, one thing. If you use an online wallet, please do it with 2-factor authentication.
Yes.
Nextbox, for example, has 2-factor authentication, and I think that mynext.info also have 2-factor authentication.
So yeah, 2FA is important.
If they offer its 2-factor authentication, is always a very good idea.
Yep. But the one thing that 2-factor authentication will not protect you from is, for example, choosing a weak passphrase.
That's my keyword. Okay,
yes, that is indeed your cue. Lead it, take it away.
Well done, Dave, with this very professional leader.
Yeah.
It almost worked as well.
Nice.
Anyway, Silvio, take it away.
Yeah, so thank you. So I would add to the 2-factor authentication as well that the administrator of the database, so is it my SQL or something, he actually could also go into the data file. I just would like to add this. So I would store on an online wallet not more than like 100, 200 euro, just to add this as something to think about. Okay, so I'm new to Next. I'm really fascinated about this, and I really like actually the brain wallet idea, because you can. So what I did in the beginning, I just took some cards like this Opera card and add like the numbers on it into my password, and I would like to give you a short presentation on how I think about the passwords and the passphrase. Bas, could you start the video?
Let
Because
me see.
so there's one way. So I think there's one way to have a passphrase which is secure and you can still remember it. And there's also the possibility to do it really extreme with a random password generator with 100 characters. So maybe we can address this on another time. But today I would like to give a short presentation for new guys and girls to the Next community. How to do a secure passphrase.
Give me a bit of time. I need to figure out how to do this on this platform. So keep talking.
Otherwise, I could also start to give my.
Am I audible or?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi. May I ask you, how do you access your Next if you're on a holiday, for instance? You haven't got your own computer with you, so the only real option is an online wallet. So, are there any really secure alternatives? It's not for me personally because I have a remote desktop to my virtual machine, etc. But I can imagine that not most people don't have this equipment.
Exactly. So I thought about the same, and I actually have four accounts. And so when I go to the forum and I give them my forum address in the signature, I'm not sure if I get a donation, but it would be nice. So I have a different address for this one, and you can think about putting this onto the online wallet. So this is what I would do, and then you have maybe the apps coming out for Android or iPhone, and then you can have also a savings account which you are not have public and which you have not. Then I would also use the 100 characters long passphrase which we have saved in your key safe or something. Yeah. So if you go away, if you're on holiday and you're really excited, you would not spend more than 100 $100 in Next, I think.
Yeah, especially every time when I'm away from my computer, 1 or 2 days, it doesn't happen too much. Something happens. Next crashes or it peaks or whatever I want to do, buy or sell, and we need to think of a way to give people secure access to their own wallet. So, would it be an idea to start an online wallet service from Next with, perhaps with known people, with a sort of service level agreement behind it, to make it really, really secure, to offer something that others don't have. Other coins. Would that be a possibility?
So so for me, a solution could be that you put this Java client somehow online, so you can. If your passphrase, you have to have it with you, and then you just need access to a client. So
yeah.
It's kind of an online wallet, but more like access into the blockchain.
Yeah. Okay.
So. Yeah, but I tried out 2 of the online wallets, and it's always something to generate your own passphrase, or they generate the passphrase for you.
Yeah.
So I just have to check it out a bit more, and maybe this is already something you could use.
Yeah. Yeah, and then again, a 2-factor authentication. That's a must-have, because then you're. No, that doesn't work. I thought then your passphrase can be shorter, so you can remember it. You don't have to save it on your phone or whatever. That's the one. Well, there are 2 problems I have with Next, but one of them is the brain wallet, because you have to have a ridiculous long passphrase, and I really can't remember it. And say, for instance, I'm on holiday, I lose my phone, then I'm screwed. I don't have my passphrase. I have it at home, but I can't access my Next. And yeah.
But then the same. I was getting into Bitcoin some few weeks ago, and then I was downloading the whole 20 gigabytes on blockchain. How can you? If you have your wallet somewhere stored, it's it's always the same, you know. So I think I prefer actually the brain wallet if you know how to use it. And if Buzz gets the video right, I mean, there is one way or one offer to how to create a password where you just use some random informations you have already, like your email or your loyalty card number or some just random numbers, but only you have access to. And then you get a pretty long password as well, which is random because so for example, my card here, you have this number. And you can use it. It's like a random number, but you have it, and that's like my Opera card. And I mean, no one will know.
Yeah, that's.
By the way, I want to break in shortly, Silvio. I think it will be difficult to do the video at this time. I think I'm going to upload it myself so we can figure it in separately. Could you explain your method shortly? Because it's not that difficult a method that you have, so.
Yeah, so I could try to actually wait a second. Maybe I can start the video and give you a screen show to my screen.
Oh yeah, the screen share. Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully this works. And let's. So desktop, share the screen. Okay, can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your Mac is protected?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear this?
No sound, just video.
Okay, wait a second. Wait a second. So. Wallet, you would like to download your next wallet. Okay. Now you can hear it. You got confronted with a passphrase, and maybe I can help you on your first steps. I just show you how you can start and how you can create your wallet, and you can feel a little bit secure and not panic and freak out completely. What I did at first was download a free antivirus software, which is here. This one, which is really free, which is really good. After I downloaded it, it was deleting already some emails with spam and with malware, with some keyloggers in it. And so this is good. After a quick scan, now my Mac is protected, at least more than before. Okay, then I downloaded here the next wallet. It's also available for Mac, Windows, and Linux. And so I just open it, and when you see it the first time, you get the screen like your secret phrase. Okay, you can type in, or okay, don't have an account, click here to create one. And then you can create a phrase. You have here 12 words, and you have to write it down. But I would say, okay, 12 words, I cannot really remember them. Wow, teacher only. Anyway, I go back and I say your secret phrase. And I would just like to mess around with the client, you know, because I have no idea, I'm new to the community. I just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's my password I always use. So now I'm in the client. What can I see? I can see dashboard, I see some account balance, forged balance, everything is 0. I see my recent transactions, recent blocks, okay, and something here, so I can click it. And here, best passphrase. So what does it mean? It means that you are now in an open wallet, which is your secret place where later on you would like to have your next tokens or your next. Just a short question. Can you hear this clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we move on. And what you can see here is recent transactions. There's already something going on in this wallet. So we just found it. We just entered the passphrase, and now we are here. So let's see. There's 1 plus. So we got 3 coins from this address here, and then we put 2 coins into this address. We got another one. Let's see. This was created, obviously. And then, yeah, within a few hours, it was gone again. Okay, here, Genesis, what's this date? So let's click on it. Okay, count info. Okay, someone updated the name of the wallet to best passphrase. Let's go out again. and try it again. What have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get in. Okay, so now we are the same wallet again. So remember, everyone in the internet who has access to the Next network and knows your passphrase has access to your wallet. So the wallet is owned by the one who knows the phrase. So we would like to enter a passphrase which is secure, and no one else will guess it or will hack it or whatsoever. So I found this website, which is Kaspersky Lab, and then you can actually test your password, which is really neat. So I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then what does it say? Your password will be brute forced with an average home computer in approximately 1 second. Okay, oops, your password could be cracked faster than you can say oops. This is why the other one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is 0, is in existence. But yeah, so we just forget this. So okay, let's say a new password. Let's say Tom is my brother. Okay, now Tom is my brother. It has more characters. It is something random, but we still use words. And Tom is my brother. It's really obvious. But anyway. Take a walk for about 2 kilometers and find your password correct when you return. Okay, I would say this message is quite clear. Let's say Tom is my brother, it's not a secure password. But we are a bit sneaky and we say Tom because we would like to stick to the phrase. Tom, and then we say in brackets 5 because my brother is 5 and he's Tom, and he is my brother. And now it will take a bit more time. You can spend this time walking to the moon and back. Okay. That is already good, but look here. The botnet will take 25 days and the supercomputer 4 hours. And then it's cracked as well. So there's something not really, I mean, it's a weak password, right? And I prepared something here, which is a Google document. And what you can see is up here, I put in the 3 passwords we just typed in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's the second. Tom is my brother. Yeah, you just go around the block and it's correct. And Tom 5 is my brother. I mean, it could be something out of the Daily Mail. Like, I mean, everyone can guess it. Okay, so let's stick to some rules. So there are some rules. You can find them in the Next Wiki. Now there's a Wikipedia page, and there you can also find more information about passwords. So at first, you need to have more than 30 characters. So let's say 35 characters. This is what the client just said. Then rule number 2. You have to use a mixture of uppercases, lowercase letters, and digits, as well as special symbols, and you can even use spaces between the words, so which is really handy. There's a rule number 3, no phrases from elsewhere, like going to the moon, okay? So going to the moon could be a phrase, but there are already rainbow tables, which is already created phrases with the wallet number. So if you see someone is using the wallet number, you just type in the phrase and you get exactly this wallet as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So going to the moon or some famous speeches, it's not really useful. And then rule number 4 is don't mess up the characters. I will come to this later. But at first, let's try. Okay, so Tom is my brother. It's not really, yeah, okay. So actually there is no brother which name is Tom, and he would not be 5. Anyway, let's say we start something sneaky. Okay, so we say PW for password equals, and I do some spaces in between, and because I'm so sneaky and I'm so clever, I just use my mail address. And after I have a mail address, I say space, and after this, I want to have something in my quotation marks. And I just have here a card, which is like a loyalty card that you see from the opera. And in the back, it has some numbers. So it has a 047235. And I would like to put it in open card. And so this is something you can write it down, you put it into your pocket or something, and even if someone finds it, he will not know what this is, okay? But what I actually put in this, so this is already a secret for my secret. So I use a password like PW in the beginning, then space equals space, and then I say my email address is next is awesome at .com, and then this is the same. And then, oh yeah, the number for my Opera card 04723520 and another quotation mark. Okay, so that's my passphrase I will use, and so I would like to copy this, and this is what I do. I copy this, I go back to my program, I insert it, and then I open it, and then what we have here is it looks different, right? There's recent transactions, no transaction yet. Welcome to your brand new account. You should find it with some coins, and there's a coin account ID. Okay, so we need the account ID later on. You also find it here, and then you see no name set. So this is already this is really a new account which was never opened before. And if you click here on more info, you see this account is brand new, and it's already a warning. Okay, so if it's brand new, you have to make a first transaction, and the first transaction we're going to this later on. But at first, I would like to stress the rule number 4, which is don't mess up the characters. Okay, so I'm going to copy it again. Right, so I just open it the next morning, and I click pass. And do you see what's different here? There is 5A 4QT, and I'm going to copy this, and I log out myself. I go in and go in again, and you see it's 4AGVK. And so something is wrong, right? So there are 2 different numbers, which means 2 different wallets. I mean, both are brand new, but they are not the same, because this is the public address to my private key, so my private passphrase. And then, okay, just have a look. This is all the same. I mean, when we copy it like this, and then how can it? You see what's going on? I mean, there's another character because we can use spaces, and the spaces can even be at the end. You see here? There's not just 1, there's even 2 spaces. And this is already different, okay? So if you type it into this computer here, and you have a different quotation mark, it's something different, right? So this one is different to this one. So I just say, it would be nice if you write it down, if you would like to store it somewhere, but not in a plain text file. You have to encrypt it, or you just write it down on a paper. You put it right on a sheet of paper, and then you can log in, and then you do it 5 times, and then you will be pretty secure. Okay, so I just delete everything. So now it's end of the music.
Good video. Nice.
Yes.
Sorry, I was just changing the speakers. So yeah, so this was a short presentation on how I see the function of the Brain Wallet to have it actually in your wallet and do something like, of course, the extra work. You have to think about what kind of information you have to put in your phrase. But when you get a bit creative and yeah, then you could do something. And I also have to say, I use this one for my wallet, which I call the street wallet, what I use on the street when I go around, and I just would like to remember it. And I as well have a strong password generator create a password with 100 characters, and I store it in a KeyPass file. So this one is a bit more. I mean, you need a bit more equipment. You have to get more into details, but at least, yeah, you have it even more stronger.
I think one of the most important things is this is a very common mistake for people to lose their passphrase, and it's something that a lot of people don't know is that a space is also a character in next.
Exactly. So I often see in the forum something like, I created the new wallet, and now it's completely different. And of course, when you copy it, and then even for example, if you put like 3 dots in it, and it's changing it, if you save it in Word or something, I mean, 3 dots as a symbol is different as 3 dots after another, or even this little bar, which you have Word and you do it, and then it's actually changing the symbol.
Yeah, this is again proof of the evil of Microsoft.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
And don't forget enters as well count as an extra character. So even though you may not have grabbed a space with your quick copy and paste routine, but if you go slightly below the line, you could in fact grab an enter as well, and then you're in the same situation of entering into an account that doesn't seem to be your account anymore. Yeah. That was pretty damn good summary or sort of explanation of a method of generating a secure account or a secure passphrase. The other important thing to remember is do not be repetitive. We've recently had a case where I think somebody chose a repeating pattern of 6 characters, something utterly idiotic like ASDFGH repeated 6 or 7 times. That might be long, but it's not secure.
Yeah, and this is what I tried to show in the first beginning. I mean, so I was showing the client to my brother, and he said like, okay, passphrase, what does it mean? And then he was typing in the first time just some random characters, and I was like, okay, I mean, I haven't thought about this. You can put in something, and then you get an account, and then he was putting another number, and he got another account. I mean, they were all brand new. There was nothing created, but it's like something what you don't expect. You go to your email service, and then you type in, and then it says like wrong password. But here it actually works. You actually get into something, and this is something what also new people have to get to know.
Yeah, this is something that needs to be continually, reiterated and mentioned over and over again, that Next relies on a brain wallet. Your password is your account. So if you're holding a very large sum of Next, this sequence of 35 to 100 characters is all of your money. So make sure you get it right.
Yeah,
and you can't change it.
And maybe if you like, I could also make a short video about the whole KeyPass thing, which is basically a software where you can store the information but encrypt it, and you just have to go and copy it, and then you can pass it somewhere. So maybe this is something what I use for 100 characters, which are totally random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Baz, you got anything more to add to that?
I have to add that we're wrapping up.
I thought you might.
We managed to outstay our welcome by half an hour again. Good.
As usual.
No, I want to thank everybody again for coming on, for giving the information. We didn't even manage to. I was a bit scared that we didn't have enough topics, but it turns out that we didn't do half. So good.
Yeah, still got a list. Just before we finish. Before we go, can I say that we are going to be releasing new client software very shortly, which will contain the digital goods store, as well as encrypted messaging and the capability to transfer aliases. I'm not going to give a date because I'm not sure of the date, but I'm fairly certain it will be in the next week or two. If anybody wants to contradict me on that.
It must even be the next week because the digital goods store will be active in 7 days.
True, because the digital goods store activation is tied into certain blocks, 2005, 2010. Oh, 210,000, 205,000.
Yes. So by using logic, we can say within the week.
May I ask one other question?
Yeah.
do we somewhere on the forum have a topic about the brain wallet, and maybe that it stands in the way of mass adaptation, or is there a discussion going on to make it simpler? I understand it's embedded in the core. But is there something going on behind the scenes to improve the brain wallet for normal people? It's hard enough for us, for people who are in IT to make a good brain wallet and to never make a mistake. So you enter a different account, but it would be very, very difficult, almost impossible to how do I say this? To explain this to my mother that a password is her wallet.
Yeah. Huh? Well, what my view on this actually is that I think the mainstream people will never use the wallet like we do.
Yeah.
I think the only way for mainstream adoption, and you see this in Bitcoin too. You see this with these lightweight. The lightweight accounts where you don't even need to do anything with the blockchain are the most popular. So the same will probably happen with Next, and in a different way because we have this brain wallet technology which works differently. My view would be that mainstream people won't even need to do anything themselves with it.
Yeah, I think that's where the websites could come in handy. They generate a password for you with a two-factor authentication, which allows you to enter your account. And that's really the only option I see for mass adaptation is to use websites like your banking website. It's just a website. You don't have any client software anymore.
I think for most mainstream people do not want to know how it works anyway.
Yeah, correct.
This is something about technology. I use this laptop. I know fairly well how it works, but not the intricacies. Basically, I don't care. I want to read the image. I want to use it, but I don't need to know how it works. And it's the same with any technology, basically. The only step that you get then again is you always have a substitute. And that's a bit weird in crypto. That's fair. That's massively weird in crypto, anyway. But it's this is a good topic for the next discussion because it's a long one.
Yep. Okay. Can I stick my little nose in here for a second? It just occurred to me during this password brain wallet conversation that technology advance is pretty soon going to make the whole question of generating your own password or relying on pseudo-random password generation from a website, it's all going to become obsolete. It's very easy right now to drop 20 euros to buy a fingerprint scanner. Very soon this is going to become almost universal technology on everything. And it's going to be pretty damn simple for Next or anybody else to integrate the simple concept of your fingerprint is your brain wallet.
But then you only can have 10 wallets because you only have 10 fingers, right?
Tough titty. Shouldn't be so greedy.
and you need to bring the device with you, huh? You need to bring the device with you.
Okay.
Yeah. This is, like I say, just an off-the-wall, off-the-cuff idea. Fingerprint as brain wallet password. Well, I mean, the technology is there to implement it, so yeah. But let's not go into another 30 minutes of discussion about this. But
I am going to be the English landlord that says, "Time, gents."
Time, gentlemen, please. You've had your fun. Now get out.
Yes, exactly.
Thank
you all for coming on. Next week, I already have moneypayments.com who is going to be on the Hangout to talk about their system. And we're going to do it the same way like we did it this week, 2 days in advance at least. We'll be posting a topic where people can say, I want to be on this. If you know people who want to be on this, please point it out that they can always contact us, Evil Dave, Damelon, Tizen, anyone. and they can have a spot. That's it. Good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you are, and thank you for participating.
Oh, thank you for hosting, mate.